Evening, Bev. How are you?
Hello, I'm well, as well as could be.
How is your injury? How's your arm doing?
What my elbow is fine. My wrist is not good. I mean, I'm basically one arm. I can't do much with my left hand yet, and
Yes.
it's still pretty painful, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. Is the
So,
prognosis good? Is it expected to fully
uh,
recover?
well, yes and no. I mean, I saw the surgeon a couple of weeks ago, and he said, you just got to make it. He basically said, you just got to work until you scream with pain. It's going to hurt no matter what. If I operate on you, it's going to hurt even more. So come back in 8 weeks, see how it goes. So I keep working, and it's sometimes it's a little bit discouraging because it seems so slow. It's been a long time. Anyway, I know I can use my right hand and everything else is fine. So, and it's amazing how one adapts. So, but we're all, I mean, all our friends at that age, and things happen, and it takes forever to, I mean, you'll never recover to what you were. I mean, that's taken, but it takes such a long time.
I think those soft exercise balls are quite good for. I have a kind of arthritic fingers, and they just
Well,
for
it's not
moving the wrist and
arthritis.
the fingers.
It's not
Yes.
arthritis. It's damaged
No,
tendon.
no, but just
No,
that gentle, that movement and
yeah.
squeezing and they help.
This is something I have to, yeah, it's not
It's your
arthritis.
injury. You have special exercises. Yes.
So,
Yeah, yeah, she's
Morning,
but
Alberto
yeah.
and Azita.
Hi, morning.
hello.
Azita's got a very blank picture today.
Where is Zita? Ah,
And Bev, any topics you would like discussed before you both fade for the night?
Do you have any topics she asked you?
oh, no. No, I mean, I'm just very conscious of a change happening all the time. Conditions.
And suffering.
Not suffering as such, but just, you know, coming back to what's happening now.
Okay, well, we can start with that. Let's see if Jan is here. Jan, are you here?
Yes, สวัสดีค่ะ everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์
สวัสดีค่ะ Jan.
ท่านอาจารย์สวัสดีครับ
Malika Fazan.
Yeah. Bev was just mentioning about her injury. She has a wrist injury, and she was just saying she's conscious of conditions and change all the time. Usually, of course, we think about change conventionally, my wrist not working as it used to, or the change in the climate or whatever. But of course, we know that the real change is each moment. The real normal is different at each moment, the seeing, the hearing, the pleasant feeling, the unpleasant feeling. And Tom mentioned about the suffering. So that's another point, because we think of the physical suffering when we're in pain doing exercises for the wrist or something. But as we know, in the deepest sense, the dukkha refers to each reality. Even the pleasant feeling is dukkha. We think just when it's unpleasant feeling, it's dukkha, but this is just one meaning of dukkha, the unpleasant bodily and mental feeling. But in the deepest sense, the dukkha is the pleasant feeling, the unpleasant feeling, the neutral feeling, all conditioned realities. And perhaps Sujan would like to pick up this thread or discuss any of these topics further. It's good to discuss your topics, Tom and Bev, before you fade for the night.
Thank you. Well, I mean, we still meet with a group of friends every week, and we have discussions. It's not always, I mean, coming back, we always try to bring it back to the here and now, but it's each moment. But, you know, because our friends are not, these are the same group that we read books and we have discussions, but it's interesting to see how we are conditioned, how our habits influence the way we perceive things or react to things, respond to things. And it's all our conditioning and all our, and people respond, react because of past conditions. And realizing each moment conditions the next. Sometimes, you know, it's good to know that.
All gone.
I think
Let's
Carry on,
conclude.
Jan. All gone.
I was going to add, Bev, that you mentioned how we react. And of course, a big factor in those conditions is the accumulated tendencies. They vary so much from one individual to the other, and they're a big factor in determining how one is going to react to given sensed or impression or whatever experience.
What is there now can be known, but not this moment yet. That's why we learn to understand by considering what is there right now, little by little, because what is there in life so natural as your happenings and the others, events and so on. If there is the understanding at that moment that it's just conditioned, because even the pain in the body, what condition it, does anyone make it arise and so on, even it's there as it is, but it's not yet clearly known. That's why we talk about it. What is there in life? Each moment is different by conditions. Even what is talking now is conditioned by accumulation of each one to conditioned moment of thinking and talking, but all about what is there now. Little by little, in order to get closer to the path, leading to understand the truth that even we heard the word all gone, but it's there again and again. But when there is a little more understanding of the truth, it develops in its own way, so natural, unknowingly, that we can think about anything by conditions. Nisya Pachaya, Upanisya Pachaya. So that can be a moment of thinking about what is heard, about right now. It's just a moment of pain. It's just a moment of seeing. It's just a moment of thinking. What is there in life? No matter what, is conditioned, but by so many conditions, not only one condition. So at moment of talking about it, it's moment of Dhammas developing to get closer and closer to this moment as it is, to appear as we have talked about it. It's gone, see, but it's there by condition before it's gone. Just to see, only seeing, and then thinking about it a lot in a day. That's why just learn to understand the truth, and understanding itself will develop on and on and on to understand any moment in life by conditions. That's why we can talk about what we have heard about nothing is permanent. This moment is conditioned, and the difference between seeing and that which is seen, all gone. Again, it's there. Again, it depends on conditions, whether there can be a little more, so very subtle more, little by little, to condition the path leading to not forget it, because it's there and gone. And if it's not more and more, little by little, how can it condition moment of not thinking about the other thing else, but begin to attend to the characteristic which is there. As it is, hardness is there. But the truth is that at that very moment, there's nothing besides the experiencing of hardness and the hardness itself, right there in a moment. And the next moment is conditioned to be different, depending on sati, awareness, conditioned by right understanding of the truth of what is there, is strong enough, firm enough to condition unexpected moment to be aware of that object. It can be right now or any moment. It's not so short, like each moment is so short, but it depends on conditions for it to be aware a little more by conditions. The most important thing is that actually understanding, no matter what is there, the awareness of the reality, or just no thought about it at all, or it begins to even think about it. As we have heard, it's hard right now. It's hard is the word, but hardness is there to be known that it, no one there, no thing there at all, little by little. That's why it needs firm understanding, which is the intellectual understanding about what is there as it is. But life goes on by condition. No matter it's just better than before, even it's unknown, by conditions. That's why there is more interest in talking, discussing on the truth of what is there anytime, because it has been accumulated to have tender interest in understanding it. But the akusala has been accumulated to be conditioned each moment after seeing right now, to understand how much ignorance and akusala, attachment to whatever is seen or experienced from moment to moment. That's why there can be the understanding of the Virya Barami and Kanti Barami. It's there, so we can talk about it again and again and again, unexpected at all, to what is there, little by little, because it's there for sure, it develops for sure, but so very gradually, comparing to the accumulation which has been accumulated from years and years ago of ignorance, no understanding of seeing right now, but at moment of talking about it, remembering it, sanya, and so on, and attention and wise attention, gradually it performs its function. That's why it's so patient, not to be I who would like this or who would do this at all by conditions. That's why when we see or experience any happening, there can be the understanding it's there by condition, just when it's there and then gone. The next moment followed instantly, so very quickly. That's why no one can do anything. Everything is anatta. What is there is just a moment of what is conditioned to arise. Only that. This is the only way to let go ignorance, which is the condition for attachment unknowingly to whatever is there. That's why the development of the Ariya Satya is the moment of understanding what is there is conditioned. It's just from nothing to be something and then nothing again. This moment previous moments are gone, no matter what. But it cannot never arise again. It can never arise again. That's why just what is there is the most important, to realize that when there is no understanding of what is there can never be the understanding of the truth, that life or each moment is not permanent at all. But since the other moment followed instantly, it seems that life is so long, from birth to death. But what about the in-between moments before birth and death? Right now it's there and gone, and it will be yesterday of tomorrow. Now it seems like we are here sitting, talking, but each moment is gone. No, it's nothing to be regret, but it's the most precious moment. Understanding is there. It doesn't hurt at all, the way it is. No matter it is thinking or unpleasant feeling, all are conditioned by previous accumulation. That's all. Life goes on and on, non-stop, until there is no conditions for whatever arises. Nothing can arise at all. That's why before learning to understand the truth of life, that ignorance just cannot understand the truth. That's why there is attachment instantly to what is there, because of ignorance. Do not understand that it's not there at all, just there very shortly and then gone. And is this true? Just consider whether it's true. That's no moment having the Satya Parami, to be true to the truth, to be truthful to what is there. As it is no one and no thing. Seeing right now is conditioned. And when someone is coming in, another seeing, someone is going out, another seeing, see. Conditioned unknowingly all the time in life. Just have confidence of the truth, because understanding this is letting go the idea of I or something, even not in word, but it's there at moment of understanding. That's why samadhi or right understanding is the first of that which can be developed on and on to realize the nature of what is there, because it's so true. Before it arises, no condition for it to arise. It cannot arise, but now it's there by condition. That's all, and then gone. The attitude to what is there is going to develop to understand whatever it is, the one who is doing something wrong or what, no akusla, because of understanding actually what is there are only different realities, condition, arising and falling away so quickly. That's why the words of the truth about what is there can be learned to just understanding it. And understanding is different from attachment or bad feeling at all, because it understands. How can it be bad feeling? And this is what is there in life each moment, no matter what happens. What about tomorrow? Unknown. What about next moment? Unknown. Or anatta. No need to just say or repeat or think about the word anatta, no one at all. But the understanding of anattaness is there. Understanding what is there as it is. Not just thinking about the word of what is there as no one. But the nature of that which sees is a reality. No one can make it arise. No one can control. But because it's gone, it cannot belong to anyone at all, from moment to moment. That is the way to let go ignorance, attachment, and clinging to the idea of self or I. No matter it's the moment of thinking, remembering, liking, or whatever, all by conditions. That's why, do you dislike this person? No person. That's why there can be more kindness, generosity, and all kinds of helping and so on, with more understanding. Is this true? Now it's gone. What is there next is conditions. No one can make anything arise at all. And life is so short or so long, depending on conditions. Because life exists only in a moment, from birth to death. And after death, the Anantara Pachaya is there in each citta condition the next moment. Or anatta. No one knows what would be the next moment. Can it be death? Can it be thinking? Can it be next life? All are dhammas, depending on conditions. No matter what moment or what is there. And this is the only path, the only way to let go the idea of something or I, from birth to death, life to life, eons to eons. It has to be only a moment of conditioned realities. Right now, what is the previous moment gone? And now it's gone, unknowingly, all day. So we can talk about anything, the truth of what is there, to be conditioned for understanding, and understanding, letting go, wrong understanding, and the idea of self. Where self at moment of birth, where is self at moment of death, and what is self next life? Just the conditioned realities. Can anyone do? Actually, no one. All are dhammas and conditioned dhamma. No matter what is it, doubt or anything, a dhamma, a reality, a conditioned reality by different conditions. That's all. And when the understanding of the truth, prayati, is so firm, there can be any moment of awareness of what is there right now, with understanding of the truth developing gradually, little by little, understanding the difference between no awareness, no understanding, and moment of understanding with awareness of a reality right then by conditions. The understanding of anothernness develops gradually to understand that even right now, thinking is conditioned only by conditions. Just understanding by considering whether it's right or wrong, whether it's true or not. To have satya parami, being truthful to the truth. What is this moment? It's gone. Is it true? Can anyone stop it to arise or condition it to arise? Impossible. or by conditions. And we learn to understand what condition just a reality right now, not only one condition. So without understanding the nature of the reality, the truth of it, the conditions for its arising, how can there be the letting go, the idea of I or something belonging to me? Impossible, because nothing belongs to anyone. How can it belong to anyone? It's gone, never to arise again. But ignorance and attachment is there, as long as there's no understanding of the nature of what is there as it is. That's why listening to the truth is not just useful, yes, but it's the most precious moment to understand that which is there eons and eons ago and even right now, and so much more in the future happening. Ignorance, no understanding, and attach more and more and more and more. So how can there be the understanding of the true nature of the truth of what is there right now? Only by hearing, considering whether it's true or not about anatta. It's there already each moment. No need to try to do anything but understanding that which is there already by condition. Because in a day, we just think about future each moment. What about that which has arisen by conditions? Unknown, on and on and on. That's why only the word of the truth which has been heard can be considered whether it's true or not. That's the way of Satya Bharami. Know what is right and what is true. Is it not true? This moment is not present moment, previous moment. Sorry. And this moment now is not the future moment and it's not the previous moment. Right understanding is there when it understands the truth that is true, the beginning of understanding a little more of different ones at different moments by conditions. So to be good or bad, understanding or no understanding, no one at all, only conditioned moment. Is that true? When it's true, it's true. The Four Noble Truths. Because it's so true that it can be realized by the understanding of higher degree of understanding directly or more and more experience of the truth. If it's not true, it's useless to talk about it.
Achan,
Good morning. I like that comment. If it's not true, it's useless to talk about it. Well, I feel like I've had a whole weekend because I've met quite a few friends over the weekend, and I think everything I talked about was probably useless. I don't think maybe there was one or two sentences regarding the Dhamma, but the rest of it was about everything else in the world and beyond. So, and often that happens for me. Just get with people and it just blah, blah, blah. And I've mentioned this before, I come away and thinking, well, why did I talk like that? So I guess my question is now, how do I stop myself from just going blah, blah, blah?
Impossible to stop, but condition is there. Hearing and understanding the rubbish words, see, is useless from moment to moment. It conditions ignorance and attachment, loba or dosa or more and more. Just seeing one moment, see, it's conditioned by karma to just condition the moment of seeing, only one moment among all in the process. See, but it's so very important because ignorance and the accumulation of like or dislike or blah 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 has been accumulated. So how can it be stopped by ignorance again? Impossible. That's why understanding what is there, because we have heard about seeing, that no one can make it arise. It's conditioned to arise to see only a moment. But Jetasikas, which arise after that, condition more careful or considering about what is there, or no understanding, no considering about that moment which is so true. It's there and it's gone. It's not important at all, because what is the importance of that which is conditioned to rise and gone?
No
We
importance
think
at
a lot,
all.
yeah. We think a lot about it with like or dislike, but it's gone. That's why right understanding changed the attitude that has been accumulated towards what is seen and what is thought about, gradually, little by little, to see what is rubbish and what is very precious. Not I can try or I will do, but when it's there, right understanding, understand the nature, it's not anyone at all. It's just a reality. No matter it's so quite very, very bad, but it's there by condition. We usually think that I'm not good, I have such and such bad behavior, but right understanding can understand by condition is there. So by condition, when there is more understanding, more friendliness, because everyone is the same. Like it is like, dislike is dislike, seeing is seeing, no matter it's fish or horse, or ant or whatever. See, there is more understanding of nothing is permanent. It's there by condition. To be born a cat, an elephant, or whatever, human being, foolish or wise, all by conditions. And what is wise and what is fool? Understanding or no understanding of the truth, because it's there to be the proof, whether it's as no one or nothing is gone. That's why the development of understanding develops only from hearing and considering. That is the way, that is the moment of letting go, ignorance and attachment, not what can I do to have no blah, 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 and so on. See? But when it's there, there can be condition to understand it that it's rubbish. Understanding that it is less and less because of understanding, not by anyone at all. The only way, understanding the nature of that, the wholesome, the wholesome reality and the unwholesome reality. At moment of feeling bad, who hurts? The moment of bad feeling is moment of such hurt moment. Only that no one can do anything at all. No one can kill you. No one can blame you. Because actually, what is good is good. What is wholesome is wholesome. No matter one takes it for someone or something, some people thinking of me and so on. Only thinking. Just a moment and then gone. Who else attend to that? So bad feeling, clinging to it as I am blamed and so on. Only the moment of ignorance, taking that very seriously as I or people, friend or enemy, see, actually a moment of thinking. And it's that everything is not permanent. It does not belong to anyone. At moment of deep sleep, see, all gone. No I, no friend, no house, no thing at all. But when time comes, the condition moment of thinking about so many happenings in the past, clinging to it, feel bad at that moment, or feel happy at that moment, by conditions. So life is just like this, and then death, all gone. So death can be before a moment of waking up, because sleep and wake up in different life possible. Or even it's not sleeping right now. There can be new life instantly, 2 moments only, while there are so many moments in between seeing and hearing right now. Unknown moment. What is known from birth is born to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to touch, and to think about that, we should say, as something fancy world. See? So fancy, from nothing, it appeared to be people and things all around, mountain and moon and sun. But in truth, only that which is seen in a moment, but from moment to moment, it appears as something all the time. The moon, the sun, the people, dream world.
And as Ajahn has explained, Azita, the problem is not the tendency to enjoy that kind of chit chat and get lost in the occasion, but the problem as such is the lack of understanding, because we're all different in terms of our accumulated tendencies, and those who enjoy chatting with other people, enjoy having other people's company, swapping stories, sharing experiences, cracking jokes, and so forth, that tendency isn't going to change anytime soon. And nor is there any need for it to change, because it's not a hindrance to the arising of understanding from time to time that that recognizes the present moment reality for what it is. And that is, it's just the lack of understanding arising at those moments, because the understanding develops on and on, but the personality doesn't change just because understanding is developing. So
Right.
there are two
I
factors
have
here.
thought of that. It's just, it's, you know, a whole weekend of hours of just blah, blah, blahing, and then coming away and thinking, oh, well, what's the use of that? And then, yeah. So, yes, I understand what you're saying and what Achan's saying. It's most helpful. And I realized I can't stop this behavior. It just goes on and on. But yes, understanding, the development of understanding is the important thing.
And to a large extent, we can't choose who we associate with either.
Yes.
And we can't always be associating with the good friend in Dhamma. And most of the time, our association is with people who aren't.
Mm.
And again, there shouldn't be the idea that there should be less association with people who aren't interested in the Dhamma, because that's not how life is, and it's not how life is going to unfold for us, probably. So that's also a given, that there'll be plenty of times when we're in company that we might think is not ideal, but there it is. So there can be understanding at those moments too.
Yes, and you know, during those conversations with 3 or 4, 5 different people, I think, over the weekend, I can see there, you know, there's moments of generosity from them. Like on 2 occasions, I got served a beautiful lunch, and another time, you know, drinks and stuff, cups of tea, and presented beautifully. So there's moments of appreciation of these good friends, because at moments they are really good friends, caring, and the chat's always interesting. We've covered, you know, history from way back, and didn't even have time to get into the future. So,
And in any case, it's all gone. So no point in
good point,
regretting what
Sarah.
I said or what I did or whatever. And I think Jan made some really great points earlier about how, with a little more understanding, the attitude changes. Like last week, someone mentioned other people are not willing to accept right views, or they want to they prefer a quiet place and to go and meditate and this and that, and we're always thinking about I or the other people. But what about now? As Jan stressed, no one can do anything. No, the thinking now is conditioned, and as Bev was saying at the beginning, it's the same for others. Each moment of thinking is conditioned, each moment of speaking, each moment of seeing. And when we're concerned about the others' accumulations or the blah, 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 I mean, what is the kita now that is so concerned? More clinging, more
akusala.
regret, more akusala.
Yes.
So it's always,
Yes.
and when there's the idea of what can I do? How can I change it? How can I change the others? How can they understand more? Or how can I blah, blah? You know, it's that strong clinging to I and the others again and again, instead of just understanding it's life now. So it's actually not about the others. It's about seeing now, hearing now, thinking now, regret now, clinging now, because life goes on just as it is. And that's just natural daily life, chatter about this and that. And it's just ordinary life, even if one's not with others. What kind of thinking is it? Mostly blah, blah, blah too. even on one's own. It's because the habits, the ignorance, the attachment is there, but it's all gone. So what about now? Because it's only the understanding which will gradually let go of that strong idea of I and the others and how things should be. So the understanding has to develop naturally, however the accumulations run, no matter what arises.
And having reminders like you've just and Achan and John have all just spoken about, to me they're so important, because and that's what's said, good friend in Dhamma is the best friend to have. And so to have these reminders is very precious. So thank you, everybody.
And we never know how life will work out. Like Leanne, who is here on Friday, she kindly brought a group of friends, Vietnamese and Cambodians. And for the entire time they were here, it was just Dhamma discussion about realities, about right path and wrong path, and khandhas and conditions, and no one that can select, and so on. But yesterday, some other friends came to visit who we used to have a lot of Dhamma discussion with, but it was everything except Dhamma for most of the time, because it depends on the interest of the others. So one can't force it. If someone doesn't want to discuss about the Dhamma or reflect on it, then we have to just go with the flow and listen or discuss what they have an interest in at the time. So
Yes.
we don't know, each moment's conditioned, each seeing, each thinking.
Yeah.
If there are too many expectations, there will be disappointments of the others and ourselves, instead of just understanding life as it is now.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Leanne, would you like to bring up anything from the discussion the other day, or anything that the friends found helpful or had difficulty with, or are you unable to speak now?
Savadika, Tanajan, and hello everyone. I don't know where I should start, but I think I will just follow on the point that Azita just brought up about chit-chatting, things like that. And I thought it's our accumulation, habitual accumulation, and it will still happen, regardless whether we want to change. And because we know how valuable, how beneficial Dharma, talking or discussing about the Dharma, but we still can easily slip back into other, like everyday worldly conversation. I myself personally like to talk about the Dharma, regardless where and when. And it can, and then there's a time that I did not want to talk to anyone because those people are not around me, not interested in discussing the Dharma. And so to the point, like I said, I did not want to talk because I feel like it's not worth it to spend time on. And then after that, I realized after I read the book Metta by Chan, and then I realized that but still there's no I. That at the moment I think of understanding. There's nothing like we want the way we want. Like we want to force people to talk about the Dharma, or we want to talk about the Dharma where other people are not interested in hearing, there's nothing we can do. And it's at that moment there was about, about I want what I want. This is what I want. And I want the best for my family or friends. Like I said, after I read the Dharma, the Metta, that book, and then I just suddenly changed. And I mean, without me even doing anything about it or controlling. And I realized that I started joining in my existing Dharma friends group who have different view. And I stopped chatting to them for a little while, but then I started joining them in terms of showing my concern or my assistance in some area that I can help them with. And I thought I want to reflect back, and I think there's opportunity for other kusala rather than just have to be talking about the Dharma. So I ended up talking with them about health, giving them health advice and other things, that something that they interested in talking about. Yeah, and I can see it's still valuable to develop metta in those situations, regardless whether my friends or people who I'm with at the time had interest in the Dharma or not. Yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you.
And it's always very inspiring the way Leanne encourages friends, even those who've never heard the true Dharma before, to discuss and consider. And of course, some will, after one or two discussions, have no more interest, but we never know. Some people may continue to consider and discuss and have interest. So we always appreciate all your hard work to help others whenever there's an opportunity. And as you say, like now, each moment is conditioned. So the best thing is no expectations. Otherwise, it's just one's own clinging and wishing to talk about Dharma all the time or have certain results, which hinders. So always back to now. So thanks, Leanne.
Yep. Thank you, Sarah. I think that's my accumulation. Not that I wanted to do that, but it just happened and always happened. I keep like bringing friends and introducing them to the Dharma, because I thought that would be the best present I could give to people. That's all.
Is the best gift when there is the right opportunity, and sometimes we have to begin by just, like you say, talking about what they're interested in, health or the weather or this or that, because it takes time for anyone to consider carefully. So patience and metta help a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Leanne. That was that's given me some confidence because I don't bring up, or very, very rarely bring up anything about the Buddha's teachings. But you've given me a bit of confidence about giving it some consideration when I am with friends. Like I know there's some, just I won't go into what could possibly happen, but I think, I thank you for that little talk, the way you go about, especially because I have pulled away from some of those friends, but have, got back into it because I do like company, I like the attachment and the fun you have when you're talking, blah, blah, blah. But to be able to bring in, and as you say, and as Sarah said, the gift of the Dhamma is the best gift you can give anyone. So hopefully in the future, there might be opportunities, conditions to just, bring up some Dhamma discussion. So thank you, Leanne and Sarah.
And we don't have to call it Dhamma or Buddha's teachings, but just little reminders here and there amongst the blah, blah, blah can be very beneficial for anyone to consider. Like yesterday, one of the friends was mentioning in her work with those who are very disturbed and have mental health problems, and talking about compassion fatigue, when it's like one's helping so much and then one's exhausted. And we just mentioned briefly, well, it's actually not compassion that is fatigued. Compassion never is an issue, but it's what is wrongly taken for compassion, the sadness, the worry, the tiredness, and so on. So we think we are helping the other when they have their problems, but there's so much clinging expectation of results and disturbance and worry and fear and building of stories in between. So it's good to know, but we didn't talk for long because it wouldn't have been appreciated, but just little reminders. We don't have to say this is Dhamma or anything, but just what is compassion? Just what is kindness? Like when people say they're so proud of their children, is it kindness or is it just attachment because it's my children? So just little reminders can slip in here and there.
Yes, just dropping the words, the Buddha or the Dhamma. And as you suggested, you know, just finding an opportunity to come in with something like you've mentioned. Yes, very good. Thank you.
Just keeping it light and friendly rather than it sounding like we're putting a trip on them. And
yes, giving them a lecture or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know
Yes.
Anne has experience with this. The patience and the
Right.
kindness and waiting for an opportunity, just put in the odd word amongst all the blah blah.
Thank you. Very helpful.
I appreciate you raising that, Azita and Leanne's conversation as well. I guess accumulations are definitely different. I find myself pulling back more, pulling back from not certain people, but you know, a group of people together. I used to be right in there, blah blah blah, and now I find I pulling back. I can feel very quiet and just, I guess my interest in it isn't as high. And I find that there's conceit that comes with that. For sure. You're sort of, yes, there are moments, well, here am I doing this, and here are you guys, blah, blah, blah. And
not stooping to your level.
With the conceit, you mean?
Not stooping to their level. I mean,
right,
yes.
to their level. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Not blah blahing like a Seaton. So
well, that reminds me of crowing like a crow. But anyway, it's so true. I remember, Sarah, you saying years ago that you were finding you were pulling back from various things, and you know, people. I think it's well, I don't know, it's accumulations, and I think it's probably natural. You know, I don't have any wish to disassociate, but it's, yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that, I think. But there is a level of in there.
Anyway, just different dhammas, regardless
Yes,
whether one's
exactly.
blabbering or pulling back or chatting or quiet or with
Yes.
conceit or without conceit, just different dhammas, none of them belonging to the
Right.
other or I, or just dhammas rising and falling away regardless. And even when we think we're discussing Dhamma, like Ajahn stressed last week, if we're not discussing a reality at a time, most of the time it's just different stories with different words talking about events and so on. But what about the understanding of now? What about the seeing now, the hearing now, pleasant feeling now, conceit now? So it's just the same regardless most of the time.
Yes, yes. Well, in these situations that we've brought up, certainly, yeah. Even talking about them, there are, well, clearly there are, now jittas rising and falling all the time. But every once in a while there's this, oh, that was a bit of conceit that just went by, or and that's not understanding conceit at this moment, but it's, what is it? It's not quite a story of conceit. It's knowing that conceit is there, I guess, without understanding its characteristics, or without there being any, I guess it's at a pariyatti level.
And usually it's the story of my conceit.
Yes.
Oh, that's my conceit again. It's not
Right.
the understanding, it's just a Dharma. Yes.
Right.
Like
No,
Ajahn was saying about the pain in the bodily pain, it's just for a moment, whatever that's there is for a moment, but usually it's taken for my pain and the others, blah, blah, and my conceit. So the whole point is the understanding they're just anatta, dhammasita anatta. And that's the way that will be less dwelling and with regret and thinking about how I should behave and what can I do and so on. How can I change these accumulations?
Right, because
only the understanding of the dhammas as anatta can lead to the natural development.
Can I also share something else?
Go ahead, Leanne.
Hey, like I said, it's my accumulation to talk about the Dharma, and I just can't stop. Even during I'm currently running a session for Western Sydney University about supporting women with cancer. And in that group, there's people from many different religions. And of course, it's not about talking about religion. But during the sharing, people coming up with, people from other religious backgrounds sharing their thoughts, and also their story about, hearing other people criticize them, saying, oh, they got cancer because that they did something bad in the past life, and they were so frustrated with those comments. That kind of thing. And then I ended up coming in and then, like explaining about that is a misunderstanding about that people thought that's what the Buddha taught. So I ended up like clarifying about is that's the moment at the moment we say receiving bad karma is a moment of seeing, hearing, and tasting, touching, rather than the whole story kind of thing. And then some, like a person from Johanna Witnesses background saying, oh, since I learned about Johanna Witnesses, I started only saying, good things to the people rather than, like saying anything to upset other people. And they still think about this I that can do things, can change things. And I know that I can't talk about I can't talk about non-self, anatta, but I pointed out to them that actually that is the when that's understanding, and when you understand what is beneficial for other people and for your soul, then that guide you in doing producing what you do, rather than it's actually there's a you doing that. And also I pointed out about there's no sorry, I just turn this off. Um, sorry, I'm in the kitchen. I better move because there's this noise. Um, so I've pointed out that there's no good or bad person, but only at the moment of it's the quality of the consciousness at the time it arises, whether is good or bad. The quality is good or bad, rather than there's an I that is, or a person, there's a person who is a good person or a bad person. Like I ended up pointing those things out in the group, and I think they agreed. I ended up agreeing with me and thinking that's something I hope them to like to see. Actually, that's what it is. They never thought of those things before. So I explained without saying this anything to do with what I learned from the Buddha's teaching, and it's well received. So I thought it's still my tendency, like I just can't stop like ignoring those.
And like the other day when you and the friends came over, and there were people who were completely new to the teachings, and at the end we were talking about how at this moment of seeing, we asked if anyone can choose what is seen. Can anyone choose what is heard? Can anyone select what is thought about? And everyone agreed, no, it's impossible. So people can begin to appreciate that there isn't an I that can control life or decide how it goes. But we don't have to use words like anatta or the Buddha said. We can just help people to consider for themselves, like in the example you gave, at a moment of attachment, is there any kindness? So is the kind moment I, or is the moment of attachment I? Actually different moments all the time. And no one would choose to have angry moments, but it arises by conditions, the unpleasant feeling, the painful bodily feeling. As we know, as the Buddha taught in the Intl.Dhamma Sutta, if it was possible never to have painful feeling, we would all do that, but it's impossible because whatever arises is conditioned. So I appreciate your examples and all your work to help people, all the kusala, virya, and understanding to help as best you can. Let's see if Ajahn would like to add more on any of these topics, or anyone else.
All Adamas, but we talk about situation all day, every day. But the truth is that there can be the beginning of oneself, development of understanding, no matter what situation is, talking with friends about this and that, but no understanding of the truth at all at that moment. That's why what is there in life is conditioned to appear as it is. For example, anger, it's there. We know, everyone knows that anger is such and such and such characteristic, different levels and so on. But what is the truth of it? It's just that which arises and experiences an object which is hated or disliked. Is it true? Learn to understand what is that one reality at a time. And at that moment, there can be discussion on the truth of whatever is there, just one by one. Attachment is there already, see, known or unknown. So we can talk about just one reality at different level. For example, the unknown attachment to self and being and what is seen instantly, unknowingly. For example, right now, there is that which is seen. Who knows that attachment is there? Quickly, but whatever arises falls away in split seconds. So if we don't talk about the details of what is there, for example, there is attachment or there is anchor to what? It can be the object of understanding to find out a little more about what is there as it is. For example, attachment or anchor is conditioned, not at will. It's there already. Otherwise, it cannot be known or experienced that there is anchor or there is attachment. So just talk about what are there in daily life, which is so very subtle, and it can appear gradually to be stronger and stronger to be known. That's why, is that true? What about now? Is there any ignorance after seeing an attachment unknown already? And it can be known, only it's stronger, like something's very much. The picture which is seen, the bird and the river and so on, it depends on what is more interesting to be considered, to like it more or ignore it. That's why it's daily life. So begin to understand what is there now or what is there in daily life for each one to understand the nature of that as it is. Because who doesn't know the characteristic of attachment or aversion? It's known, but not as it is. Because it's known as my anchor or my attachment. But in truth, what is it? It doesn't have any color or smell or anything at all. It's there like something. If it does not have that object, how can there be like or dislike? For example, like the sweet smell, fragrant smell. If it's not there, how can there be attachment or like that which is not there at all? That's why we learn to understand, is this life? Learn to understand life in each moment as it is. For example, without that which arises and experiencing anything like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, is that life? If someone say it's not life, but what about birth? It's there. And after birth, there's seeing. Without birth, can there be any seeing, and so on? Learn to understand each moment of each reality. All of them can be classified by way of Nama-Dhamma or Rupa-Dhamma. Learn to understand the characteristic of Nama and Rupa. Because it's not known, even when it's there. Not enough conditions to understand the truth of it instantly. Even there are so many moments, many times hearing about it, understanding it little by little, but it's not yet developed strong enough to recognize or understand the nature of it, that it's just that in life experiences from life to death, from moment of seeing to hearing to thinking and so on, all are there by conditions. Just understand the truth no matter when and where. Talking with friends, we can talk about what is there. What about now? What kind of feeling is there? To be studied little by little about the truth of what is there as not self, but that is the reality which arises and experiences the object and then fall away. And the other thing, no matter it's good smell, good taste or whatever, it's just by conditions in a moment and then gone. Is that true? So each moment is not permanent at all, and nothing can be done depending on what is conditioned to arise just then by conditions. And this is the letting go of the idea of no understanding of what is there at all as it is. not self. Even we don't use the word no self, non-self, but the nature of it only can bring about the understanding that it is that, it cannot be other thing else. That which arises and experiences is there already right now, and that which arises and cannot experience anything at all. So what are the else in daily life or in life to be known? It can be subject of discussion, learning to understand the nature, the reality which is there, which is different from moment to moment, little by little, so we can talk more about the conditions for whatever is there arise. For example, seeing. It cannot arise at all without the eye, and that only one which can impinge on the eye base. And it is seeing just very shortly. The other moment is not seeing. Learn to understand a little more of the truth. We don't have to say whether it's what kind of teaching, the Buddha's teaching or what. But after one understands it, little by little, one knows who said about this and who can say about the truth, the absolute truth, the ultimate truth. Nobody can change at all. That's why it can be subject of a topic of talking, discussing, learning. And at the same time, there can be the understanding of that moment a little more. It's not yet no I or not I, because no understanding of one particular reality at that moment as it is. Even we have learned about it, because it's not time yet. That's why patience is there as Khanti Parami and Virya Parami, letting go the idea of self at any circumstance. Because when there's no understanding of this, there must be the lurking or the very subtle attachment and ignorance there instantly, all day. Just to understand what we are talking about, discussing about, whether they are true or not, of what we have said about each moment in life. That's all. And the understanding of the truth develops gradually to let go any circumstance or any situation, no matter what, because it does not concern about the others, whether they like it or not, because in truth, no one can do anything, even to the others or to oneself, because actually no self at all. All are conditioned realities. So it's time to just hearing more, consider more, to be truthful more to the truth, and understanding that that's not enough at all, because we talk about the truth of what is there as it is, but what appears does not appear as it is. Why not? Learn to understand conditions for each moment naturally, and that is the only way. Because what is there in life shows up when it's time, when the conditions are ready. It is this moment right now. Never be anything appear without conditions or accumulation at all. That's why no matter it's quite strong attachment, aversion, or unwholesome reality, it can be known one by one at a time when it's there. Learning to attend by conditions from hearing and considering and understand different moments without attending to the characteristic of what is there at all, or now it's time for the moment of conditions to attend to what is there naturally. That's why never enough to hear about the truth of it, to understand that it can be known gradually, little by little. That's why it can lead to the understanding of no I, so no other ones, people and things at all. Is that true? The moment of hearing, considering, and right understanding is there. It's much different from the moment of no hearing, no understanding, no considering about what is there right now at all. So the different accumulations of different reality, condition, different personality, different people, no one at all, only the arising and falling of conditioned realities non-stop, on and on and on and on. But when there is right understanding, it's much different from a moment of no understanding at all of what is there, which is hidden from moment to moment, all the way to death. So what about next life? No conditions to understand what is there. But from hearing, considering, even so very little, very short, it develops from moment to moment by itself to understand that nothing can be done, no matter it's so unwholesome moment. It's conditioned. Without conditions, how can it be that which appears, which is conditioned to be there, to show up, but not to understanding, to ignorance, on and on and on. It's there now, seeing, who knows about what condition, seeing pleasant object or unpleasant object. And after that, after seeing, conditions more about what is seen. See, and this is life. Thinking about that which is seen, heard, smelled, tasted, and touched all day. Just that which appears, and when the object does not appear, is there still life? It can be the moment leading to understand the nature of citta, that which is the chief of experiencing only. But when the object does not appear, it cannot understand the truth of that which does not appear. But it's there by conditions. And it's not just only there. In life, there are moments when different happiness is there. It changed its object by conditions to experience that which impinge on the eye base or ear base or whatever. And then there is the moment of experience, that which is different from moment when the object does not appear. But it's there, otherwise there is no life at all. And so on, just talking to understand the truth. And that is the only way to let go the idea of self or something, not at will, but by conditions. A little more of understanding that life is so short, just in a moment. And what is there? Unknown, no understanding, or it can be understood because it's there. Any moment, it doesn't matter. It letting go. The very, very strong attachment, just try to know it or try to do something to experience it. But it's not understanding of the truth. So it will never condition any understanding of what is there as it is. That's why now we are talking of what is there as it is from moment to moment in life. No matter what, it's not just attachment, aversion, and ignorance, the ego and the remembering and so on are there in life. When it's there, it can be known from hearing that it's just a reality because it's real at that moment. It's there, it has different characteristics apart from the others, which is different moment, different characteristic. Is it there in life? When it's life, no one. And there can be more understanding to let go little by little, gradually of what is there. For example, who knows there is doubt about this moment? Is it there or not there? When it's not there, what is it? No understanding, no attachment, no aversion. Ignorance is there. So we learn about what are there in life as each different ones. คุณเมฟคะสบายดีนะคะ Can you remember some Thai word? คุณซาร่าสบายดีเหรอคะ
สบายมากขอบคุณค่ะอาจารย์
Natural life, natural life, say condition to think, to say, to feel, to remember, all other until they are known one by one, deeper and deeper. คุณแอนสบายดีเหรอคะ
สบายมากค่ะท่านอาจารย์
ค่ะ what at that very moment see the one who hasn't heard the Thai word at all and the one who knows understand the meaning of each word is different by conditions. So any moment can be learned to understand the truth. Not forget that it's what we have said. Even the word sabadirika is conditioned each moment. What are they? Feeling, remembering. What is the moment with vitaka and what is not the moment of vitaka? Why they are different? See, just understand what is there in life. Otherwise, life cannot be understood at all. It keeps on going by conditions and ignorance, different from understanding the truth, the ultimate truth. It's there before anyone think to change about it. Impossible. It's gone so quickly. Unknown or beginning to be studied to learn about it, to learn about the truth. It's gone, never to return each moment. Kind of relief, no burden to try to do anything. That's why attachment is quite a burden. And as long as it's ignorance, there must be attachment to what is there. Never thought about the truth, it's gone. With the wind or what? Each moment is like this, never last. From ne to where, never, see, never. So quickly, by conditions.
Thank you so much, Ajahn, for your reminder. So I can say that we easily slip into stories and what I want. I think it's
And
there
at
all the
this-
time. Yeah.
And at the moment of asking, how are you, or replying back to Azita's topic, can be kusala or akusala. Who knows? Only understanding can know at that moment but we can ask about someone's health or their broken wrist. Can be kuslejitas anytime, understanding anytime, or depending on conditions, but not I doing anything. Anyway, what we would all like to wish for you is a very good, healthy, and useful trip to India, Ajahn, this week. So we wish you well for the trip and for all those who are going. And
Thank you very
appreciation
much.
for all the sharing.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค
Sawadee
รับ
Ajahn.
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์สวัสดีครับ